let's take a look at some muscles. We're really just going to take a look at some of the major muscle components. This is really not meant to be a complete muscle lecture. Remember, this is a medical terminology course, so we are going to look at a lot of the terms that are associated with muscles and what they mean in terms of medical terms. We have the muscular system. The picture here on the left is an anterior or that front view, and the picture here on the right is that back or that posterior view of some of the major muscles. Remember, this is just that surface view. If we were to move some of these muscles aside, you would see some deeper muscles that are underneath. But we are going to look at just some of those big picture or large muscles that create massive movements for us. All right, so let's take a peek. If you look on your word list, and you can find this word down your list, the first term we're going to look at is orbiculo. Orbiculo means to circle around. And so we see these things. Okay, so orbicularis means that small circle. And so we're going to take a look at the face. And there's a couple of muscles in the face that use this term as part of the name of the muscle. So the first one is the orbicularis oculi, right? Oculi means eye, as you will see in an upcoming unit, but that orbicularis means that it circles or almost looks like a circle as it goes about the eye. And the second is the orbicularis oris, and oris will mean mouth. Again, this will be in an upcoming unit very soon, but it's the muscle that circles right around the lips. So that orbiculo really tells us that it circles. Okay, next up, if you look on your word list, the term delto refers to being triangular in shape. And so the deltoid muscle is right over the shoulder. You can see it here in this nice little circled portion of the diagram. And it almost makes a triangle shape. It is much wider, or the base more towards the top, and it comes to a point out at the side of the arm. So it makes this very nice triangle shape. So the muscle deltoid translates into triangle because that is the shape. And you can see this back portion here. So I put that second circle. You can see where it's much wider towards that top portion, comes to a nice little point on the outside of your arm. Is pectoro. Pectoro, if you look on your word list, refers to the chest. And so we do have a couple of pectoralis muscles. We have a major, we have a minor, and we will see those terms in a little bit. And they are on your word list if you want to get a sneak preview. But you can see that the muscle that lies over the top of the chest is the pectoralis muscles, which just matches the medical term. Next up is the term latissimo. Latissimo. And when we see this muscle that I'm about to circle, it is called the latissimus dorsi, right? And dorsal means to be towards our back. So we're going to see this one on our back. And the latissimo portion refers to being broad. And in fact, it is the biggest, broadest, widest muscle, okay, inside of our back. And it crosses basically from underneath the armpit level all the way down, okay, to the tailbone. And I've circled it here. There are many terms and many muscle names that use the term brachii. And the extra I here from your word list really is just a pertaining to meaning. However, brachio, if you look at it on that word list, refers to being in the arm. So for all of the muscles that have the term brachii or brachio in them, they are all found somewhere in the arm. And so that can help you to locate, at least narrow down a location of the muscle that you're looking at when you're doing a medical terminology course. All right, and here we see circled is the biceps brachii, and the second one to be circled is the triceps brachii. Next up is abdomino. Abdomino we have seen before in a previous word list. It is the abdomen. So there are several muscles that we are going to find in the abdomen. However, they're all going to contain that root term abdomino in some way. Okay, so you can see that there's the little portion down the center that goes a little bit straighter. There's a few off to the sides, and there's some that are a little bit deep, but they're all going to contain that root term abdomino somehow. A new term for us is recto. We did see this a little bit with the gastrointestinal system, and this meant straight, but now we're going to put it together in a slightly different context. And so this little muscle that runs down the center of your abdomen pretty much runs straight top to bottom, okay? And the fibers of that muscle pretty much run in that direction, so they run straight up and down. And so we call that muscle the rectus abdominis, referring to it's in the abdomen and it happens to be straight. We also seen the term recto inside the thigh. So we do have some rectus muscles, and we will talk about femoris in a second, but some of these muscles inside the thigh run straight up and down. So they're pretty much perpendicular to the floor. Okay, and so that would be the rectus femoris. But anytime you see a muscle with the term recto, it runs straight, generally in the up and down direction. Next up is the term vastus. Vastus. All right, if you look at your word list, it refers to being a very large size, right? To be vast means to be large. So there are a couple of different muscles that use this term. One of them is in the thigh. It is the largest one in the thigh that we're going to use for this term, the vastus lateralis. However, if you see that term vastus, know that it is just the largest of the group of muscles that you are looking at. Next up is the term gluteo. Gluteo. And most of us have heard of the gluteus muscles. You probably know where these are located, but it is translated into the term buttocks. There are 3 of them, so we're going to see some different peaks with your activities to look at the 3 different ones and what that second term means. However, if you see the term gluteo, it refers to the buttocks. Okay, Nemeus. This one is a little bit tough to say all by itself with that extra C at the beginning. However, if you see the ending of this word with the CNEMIUS, it refers to the leg. So we're certainly going to do some word breakdown that uses this and refers to the leg. Next up is the term anterior or front. And if you don't remember your directional terms, we have a video. Please reference back to the video. But many muscles will use the word anterior, and they'll have the same muscle term, but we'll say posterior, right? So anterior, if it is inside of the term, refers to the muscle that is on the front side of you, because the anterior refers to your front side.